Good afternoon to our viewers in Asia and hello to others watching from around the world. Welcome to ARIRANG News Break. We begin with efforts to save some of Korea's tumbling industries. The government has laid out the details of its corporate restructuring drive with a particular focus on the shipping sector. Those include how it'll fund state-run banks that are likely to be saddled with huge amount of debt in the process. Hwang Ji-hye has the details.
Both the Korean government and the central bank will contribute to the establishment of a fund worth around $9.5 billion with the goal of expanding the capital base of state banks. The fund will provide loans for both the Korea Development Bank and Korea Exim Bank. The government said Wednesday that supporting the state banks is necessary to offset any potential instability triggered by the process of overhauling the country's ailing industries. The amount is far larger than what the government has estimated will be needed during the corporate restructuring process. The government expects the restructuring drive to cost an estimated $4 to $7 billion. It added that not all of the funds will be injected immediately and that the loans will be provided upon request by the banks. In addition to addressing the issue of funding, the government also plans to set up a new regular ministerial meeting to monitor how the restructuring plan is proceeding. Finance Minister Yoo Il-ho also emphasized that the shipbuilding and shipping industries should be the ones who are most responsible for the losses incurred in the restructuring process. Hwang Ji-hye, ARIRANG News.
There's been a breakthrough in the days-long deadlock over the National Assembly Speaker post. Speaking to reporters at the Assembly this morning, the ruling Saenuri Party's floor leader Chung Jin-seok said his party will yield the coveted Speaker position to the main opposition Minju Party of Korea. Instead, he said the ruling party should be given the chairman posts of the House Steering and Judiciary Committees, the two major standing committees in the parliament. Chung added that he plans to meet with his counterparts from the opposition parties soon. North Korea, the world's most heavily sanctioned nation, appears to have restarted its main nuclear facility. A U.S. official has echoed the UN Nuclear Agency's findings that Pyongyang is again reprocessing spent nuclear fuel to produce plutonium for nuclear weapons. Hwang Ho-jun reports.
Economic sanctions and worldwide criticism don't appear to be enough to counter the North Korean regime's craving for nuclear power. A senior U.S. State Department official said Tuesday that North Korea has indeed restarted reprocessing spent nuclear fuel to harvest plutonium. This comes a day after the International Atomic Energy Agency announced that recent satellite imagery indicates North Korea has likely resumed activity at its main Yongbyon plant. The State Department official, who wanted to remain anonymous, told Reuters that Washington is concerned about the North's latest activities. If North Korea has restarted reprocessing activity, it would violate the existing international sanctions it is under. The South Korean government has also responded, saying that it's no news that North Korea has continued to produce plutonium.
The government is watching the relevant movements closely with serious concern. We are also closely cooperating with the U.S. government on all related matters.
The Yongbyon facility has long been the source of plutonium for North Korea's nuclear weapons program. It was shut down in 2007, but North Korea vowed to reactivate all its nuclear facilities in 2013 and announced Yongbyon was fully operational in 2015. The regime has conducted 2 nuclear tests since 2013, including what it claimed was an H-bomb test in January this year, with the goal of improving the quality and quantity of its nuclear program. North Korea's clear defiance of the UN Security Council's resolution will likely incur even stronger international actions against the regime. Hwang Ho-jun, ARIRANG News.
And in efforts to tackle North Korea's nuclear issue, top nuclear envoys from South Korea and China will be meeting later today in Beijing to discuss North Korea. South Korea's special representative for Korean Peninsula Peace and Security Affairs, Kim Hong-kyun, will sit down with his Chinese counterpart, Woo Da-wei. Kim is expected to re-emphasize Seoul's position of not engaging in dialogue with North Korea just for the sake of dialogue and underscore the importance of keeping the pressure on the regime to denuclearize. Kim is also likely to ask about the outcome of last week's talks between North Korean senior official Lee Soo-yong and Chinese President Xi Jinping. We'll have full coverage on that in our evening newscast. It was a historic night for Hillary Clinton, who has become the first woman in the 240-year history of the country to be named the presidential candidate of a major political party. Let's listen to what she had to say.
Thanks to you, we've reached a milestone. The first time in our nation's history that a woman will be a major party's nominee for president.
Although Clinton had amassed enough delegates to give her the nomination just a day ago, her victories in primaries on Tuesday pushed her pledged delegate lead up enough to put her over the top, even before the polls closed in California, the biggest prize of the night with nearly 500 delegates at stake. Clinton's rival, Vermont Senator Bernie Sanders, had high hopes for a victory in California, but Clinton is far ahead with more than 30% of the vote counted as we went to air. In remarks to his supporters in California, Sanders pledged to fight on through the primary in Washington, D.C. and into the convention in July. 4 other states voted today: New Mexico, North Dakota, South Dakota, and Montana. And Donald Trump, the Republican Party's presumptive nominee, swept all 5 Republican contests. And that does it for now. I'll be back with more of the day's headlines same time tomorrow. Thank you for watching and stick around.